Hello, I'm John Hemingway. Welcome back to Shropshire. Now, we have just had the end of the financial year. What an exciting time. I know how much we're all looking forward to doing our tax returns. Something that got sent through to me was this, the old pension statement, which is always good for a laugh. It did make me think pensions, a bit like lambs. You've probably never heard anybody say that before, and you might be wondering how I'm going to play this one out. Well, lend me a couple of minutes of your time and I will explain. Now, you might have guessed here, we are talking about growth. And when it comes to your pension, we're always told that you should pay in as much as you possibly can early on, because by the time you come to retire, every pound that you paid in when you're in your 30s has done a lot more growing than the pounds that you paid in when you're in your 50s, and that's true. The same thing is true with lambs. We know that the easiest, the quickest and the cheapest time to get weight onto lambs is early on. Typically, pre-weaning growth rate is always higher than post-weaning growth rate. But there is a little bit more to it than that, and this is where it becomes a bit interesting. Okay, so let's say that hypothetically we have two lambs that we are going to wean today. They're both 20 kilos, they both look identical. We'll call them Lamb A and Lamb B. The difference is Lamb A is reached 20 kilos in 8 weeks, giving it a growth rate of 270 grams per day. Lamb B has reached 80 kilos in 12 weeks, giving it a growth rate of 180 grams per day. Now, these lambs look identical from the outside, but on the inside, they are different. If we were to open them up, what we would find is that Lamb A had bigger liver, heavier intestinal mass. The organs that are important for onward growth are better developed in the lamb that had a higher pre-weaning growth rate than the lamb that had a lower one. What this means is that if we took these two identical looking lambs, weaned them today and put them out on exactly the same pasture, they would not grow at the same rate. Lamb A, which has had the higher pre-weaning growth rate, will also have a higher post-weaning growth rate. And Lamb B, that had that lower pre-weaning growth rate, will never keep up. Pre-weaning growth rate has a palpable effect on post-weaning growth rate. And if you don't have a good pre-weaning growth rate in your lambs, you're going to struggle to get a good post-weaning growth rate. So how do we get a really good pre-weaning growth rate? Well, of course, there's some parasite control involved, but essentially, it's dependent on ewe milk yield, and ewe milk yield is dependent on ewe nutrition, and we've spoken about that at length. You can discuss with your vet what growth rates are achievable on your farm, but the important thing to do to start with is to measure them, because as we've said before, if you don't know where you've come from, how can you plan where you're going? Measuring growth rates is very easy. You don't have to measure all the lamb's weights, just a representative sample. We need to take weights at birth, we need to take some weights at 8 weeks, and we need to take some weights at 20 weeks. This will give us a wealth of information about our pre and post weaning growth rates, and we'll be able to take those figures, look at them and say, this is what we're achieving, where can we go from here? So to wrap it up, lambs that grow faster earlier in life will grow faster later in life, and lambs that don't grow fast early in life will struggle to do so later on. Early investment in your lambs gives them the biggest potential for growth. Just like your pension. Getting your lambs finished early is better for your wallet, it's better for your carbon footprint, and it means that if you're keeping your own replacements, your ewe lambs are going to be a better weight to go to the tub. That's it. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I'll be making another video very soon, and I hope to see you there.